Hey guys, Bruce. Just got back from another long road trip. Actually, I'm combining two trips into one. I made two videos out of it. I left here about 3 weeks ago and drove from Austin, Texas to Atlanta, Georgia, and started the Hot Rod Power Tour. And that was 5 days through 5 cities, 4 states. Ended up in Bristol, Tennessee. And we finished the power tour, got our long hauler plaque, and then Rummer flew up to meet me in Bristol, Tennessee on the last day of the tour, and we drove another 250 miles north up to Waynesboro, Virginia, and then drove the entire 469 miles of the Ridge Parkway from north to south. So that's what this video is going to be. I did a separate video for the power tour. This is going to be just focusing on the Ridge Parkway, which was an amazing time. It was beautiful. The weather didn't cooperate the whole time. We had some good weather, and then we drove through torrential rain for about 3 days. But you know, I can't complain about one thing. It was over 100 degrees back here in Austin, and even though it was raining, the highs were in the 60s. So you got to take the good with the bad. But it was all fun. Then near the end, we had a little snafu that caused the return trip to be a little different than I had planned for it to be. But hey, that's why they call it an adventure, right? But in case you're new here, this is Lucy, my '62 Chevy Impala, which my mom and dad bought brand new. My dad gave it to me. I rode home from the hospital in this car in '65, and then my dad gave it to me in 1983 when I graduated from high school. And so I retired about 3 years ago, and I'm starting to do long road trips. Back on my channel, I've got I did the Hot Rod Tour of Texas. Last year, I drove up to Amarillo, Texas, and did the western half of Route 66, which was really cool because that was a trip we made in this car when I was 2 years old, but I don't remember it because I was 2 years old because we lived in Abilene back then. If you like the video, there's some other road trip videos on here, and I'm going to probably be doing a couple of these a year, just documenting my trips, so that when I get too old to do this stuff anymore, I'll actually be able to look back on these and just remember the good times and the road trip. So so this is just going to be basically focusing on the trip from here to Atlanta. I did have one snafu breakdown basically on the way to Atlanta. I'm not going to cover that in this video though, because I put it in my other video for the power tour. I'll just say this though, if you're ever in Ruston, Louisiana and you need a welder, there's a young man who runs Outlaw Welding who is amazing. He showed up at 10 o'clock at night, got me fixed up, and for what I thought was a more than fair price. So if you're ever around there and you need a welder, I'm going to give him a shout out every time I can now, because he was awesome. But that's all this is going to be, just documenting that the Ridge Parkway trip. So I hope you enjoy it. Have a great day. So check out our next amazing Airbnb. We just left the last day of the power tour, and Rummer's on his way to meet me, and we're gonna drive the Ridge Parkway. So this is our Airbnb for tonight. Look at this view. It's amazing. pretty amazing. This is not even 30 seconds into the start of the Blue Ridge Parkway on the north end out of Waynesboro, and we're already at an overlook. Doing pretty good so far, running with the air conditioning on and climbing these hills. And she's staying right at, she's actually staying all the way down at about 160 on the gauge, which is awesome. Can't go any cooler than that 'cause it's got a 160 thermostat, so I'm pretty impressed with that so far. And I'll tell you, I'm actually considering turning this air down because it's almost chilly in here. The James River Overlook and hiking trail. It's right off the parkway. It's actually a really pretty spot through here. So check out this amazing place. This is our next Airbnb for tonight. We are just outside of Floyd, Virginia. Beautiful place up here. This is a little goat farm and an Airbnb. So this beats staying in hotels any day of the week. I'm actually loving all these Airbnbs along the way. So this is my idea of an Airbnb. We're at Skipwillow Farm in Floyd, Virginia. Look at these goats. And here comes the guard dog. Hi, babies. Look at all these babies. called the Quarry View Overlook for obvious reasons. All right, Romer, so where are we now?
We're at the Peaks of Otter restaurant and lodge. But we're having lunch here right now, really late lunch. So, beautiful view.
So this is the Peaks of Otter Lodge. We just had lunch here. And this is the hotel part of the lodge over here. It's a beautiful spot on the little lake here, and you can actually hike all the way up to the top of that mountain right there. Or if you're old and out of shape, they have a shuttle that can take you up there also. Are we gonna hike up there, Romer?
No, I'm old and I'll take the shuttle.
this is how the Lynn Cove Viaduct usually looks, but today it looks like this. Well, here we are at Mount Mitchell, highest point east of the Mississippi. Look at that view. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, so this whole part of this trip was a bust. This weather system, they said it hasn't been like this in 30 years, go figure. But hey, we're still doing the Parkway. And it is in the 60s instead of in the 90s, so there's that. But so much for the view. Another amazing viewpoint with the fog, but I have to say this part through here is where all the rhododendrons are growing, just crazy. It's like a whole forest of them, and it's even with the fog, it's still beautiful. But we have officially made it to the highest point on the Parkway. So this is our last day. We're headed down to Cherokee, so we've got about another 60, 70 miles to go, and then that's going to be the end of it. Well, this wasn't what I had planned, but Lucy had a suspension issue pop up that I found last night when I was going to change the oil, and I can fix it. In fact, I've already ordered the parts and had them sent to the house, but I can't fix it out here on the road. So U-Haul, and the biggest truck they had, that's the smallest one I could find, for 1,000 miles home. So here we go. A great little rest area we found here near Jackson, Mississippi. Stopped for a little while and had a snack, used the restroom, just stretched our legs just a little bit. So we got about another 130 miles to go today, and then 456 tomorrow. So we're still on our way. Just like that, she's all back together and we're back on the road. So that was pretty straightforward. Like I said, I've never seen one of those, a suspension, an A-arm just come apart like that, of the A-arm bushing. I think that was kind of crazy to me, but I just didn't feel like I should drive it 1,000 or 1,500, 1,200 miles, whatever it was, back home. So I still think getting the trailer was a smart decision, but she's back together now. Had all the new parts waiting when I got here, so we're back and up and running. So we'll see you on the next video. Have a great day.